Coming up on today's episode.
Well, you did miss one off there, which was my do we leave the dead body in or the dead body out of the marketing photos. There was a good one there as well. It was like a rolled up dead body in a
I'll put it on
rug in the bathtub.
I actually saw it. So it's got like...
So there's more of these.
Dodgy advice and bad decisions can cost you big in real estate. We're here to make sure that that doesn't happen. Welcome to the No BS Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Agresta, and it's time to take control of your property journey together.
Hey, it's Scott Aggett from Green Shoots Property. Today we're talking all things dog shit assets. Now we're talking properties that are compromised, properties that are just outright rude, properties that just should not be renovated like they are. They're assets that you need to avoid if you want to buy the right property. It's going to be easy to resell and are going to see great capital growth. So look out for the dog shit assets.
Welcome back, everyone, to the No BS Real Estate Podcast, your listening how-to guide to the Aussie finance and real estate market. I'm your host, Joe Agresta. Now, on today's episode, we're diving into something a little different. It's the dog shit properties of the market. You know the ones, the listings that make you question humanity's relationship with architecture. And who better to unpack this with than Scott Aggett from Green Shoots Property? If you haven't already heard our first episode with Scott or our second one with him, then go back and check it out. That's where we dig into who he is, his background, and why we keep dragging him back on the show. And thank God he keeps coming back. Since then, Scott's been busy growing Green Shoots Property and calling out some truly terrible listings on LinkedIn and whatever he's seeing in his scouting journey. So today we're breaking down a few of those shockers and showing you what to look out for, because buying a bad property isn't just ugly, it's expensive. So Scott, welcome back to the show.
I'm a fine purveyor of dog shit assets. That's the best intro I've ever had.
Yeah, fine purveyor. Yeah, we'll just give you the brand now, like underneath the screen we'll just say it. Dog shit assets. There he is, the guy.
It just reeks that name of just quality, doesn't it? I love that heading. Dog shit assets.
Well, you know what my favourite was and when we ended the last episode, I said, shit, we got to have you back. And I'm like, well, what do we talk about? And I'm like, because then I started seeing your posts and I said, oh, what do we call it? And you're like, yeah, dog shit assets.
Oh, I think it's pretty easy to understand, isn't it? There's so many, the beauty of this episode is there's so many talking points. There's so many examples. LinkedIn or social media, posts that I feature a few of these properties is totally random. Yep. They're things that we genuinely come across in our day-to-day property search when we're looking for homes for clients, and they just stand out and they're funny and people love them. They engage with them. So I think there's some really good stories around it, but it's a serious topic for us, right? Like we're constantly finding these properties that are going to be the wrong ones to invest in. They're going to be a noose around your neck long-term if you're an investor or you're buying your own home. And because we both sat in the agent chair, we know what's saleable, we know what's really difficult to sell and what's going to be held back for capital growth.
100%.
So it's worth unpacking.
We've got to unpack it because, like you said, we've both sat in the chair of real estate agents. So we've prepared houses for sale. We've spoken to vendors. We've advised in the sense of how do you prepare a presentable home? Is staging appropriate? Normally is. And when you just see this stuff that comes up online, you're like, who advised you? Did anyone give a shit? Well, I think before we dive in, Scott, quick update before we jump in since we last spoke. I like to do a pulse check because you've come back a couple of times now. So how is Green Shoots going?
Yeah, beyond my wildest dreams is the honest truth. I didn't think it was going to take off as quickly as it did, but I just put on another 2 team members this week, so up to 7 full-time people. Yeah, it's been a great ride. So I'm just busy fine-tuning every little aspect of it so that we can continue to, increase the quality of the service that we give and the premium outcomes that we're getting for the clients. So it's great. It's been good fun.
That's unreal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've loved seeing it the past couple of months where we've been catching up. I'm like, okay, cool. You're like, I'm planning on doing this. This is what I'm thinking about doing. And then just seeing it come to life and at the point where you're like, okay, so I have 7 salespeople. It's awesome. And in terms of the market, what's your pulse update on the market? How are things out there?
I think it's been an interesting 3 weeks or 4 weeks, the couple of weeks leading up to October 1st in terms of the government incentive for first home buyers to get in and use that 5% deposit scheme. And then the aftermath of that, just seeing, the lack of stock that's around, the sheer increase in buyer numbers right across the country. It's been an interesting ride.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how we're going to end this calendar year. Like, where are we going to be sitting?
Well, I think it's pointing towards just price increases at the moment, isn't it? So it's a short-term scramble for a lot of people to get on the ladder. My fear is people are just going to overpay for property just to get the benefit of that scheme. And I think there's maybe a bit of pressure that people are putting on themselves, possibly to buy sooner than they need to.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's going to force prices up, but also it runs the risks of people taking some positions there that aren't long-term a safe spot to be in. And I'm talking about negative equity if the market changes, and big mortgages for people that they possibly don't realise what they've got to pay back still. So there's a little bit of ironing out, I think, in this stage of the launch, which might take 3 to 6 months to settle in a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's kind of like why I like to pulse check it with you, because, you know, you're on the front line. So it's, you know, to all you listeners tuning in, if this is, you know, the time that you're thinking about buying, maybe you've done your pre-approval, or you're going to take advantage of the scheme, just go in with your eyes very clear, do your research, or get some help from, you know, one of our trusted advocates or Scott himself, because it costs nothing to have a chat. So
costs heaps to talk to me.
No, but for the first one, come on. Got to give these guys one chat.
I'm joking.
It's not free forever. But your first one might be on the house. Well, look, we're going to jump straight into today, because I think this is a great topic. I'm very keen. So today, I want to just explain to the listeners, we're going to go through some real listings. These listings have come from what Scott has actually come across on, like, you know, real estate platforms when he's trying to find properties for his clients. I've got a couple of fresh finds myself, and we're going to unpack why they're bad, what are the red flags, and how to avoid them. So we're trying to help you help yourself when you're looking online, because this is the first impression you get of properties. So we'll describe each one to you, have a bit of fun guessing the suburban price, and then Scott will explain why each property's financial and emotional trap is the way it is. So what are you going to learn today? How to recognise poor design, location and livability red flags, why some properties will never perform no matter how cheap they look, and what actually makes a green shoot market different from a dog shit property.
Yeah, nice. Plenty to unpack there. Lots of value.
So much value. You guys are going to love it. I don't think anyone's going to love this episode as much as you and I, though. Okay, let's start really strong, okay? So this picture, actually, for our listeners, picture this. It's a pristine white horse rearing proudly out of your bathroom floor, except it's also your toilet. So we're talking gold trim. There's a mirror base, which we love. It's like the full Versailles experience, just with plumbing. I have to just give you a quick reminder, Scott, of what we're looking at.
How could I forget that? It's etched into my memory for life, that bathroom.
So it's like, help me, I'm on a carnival ride, but I'm also having a crap. Like, what the hell? So, Scott, design and street appeal perspective, or I guess bathroom appeal here. What's this saying about function versus taste, right? Because when does quirky cross the line into value destroy?
Yeah, good question. So, you know, we often talk about tenants and home buyers will pay a premium for beautiful kitchens and bathrooms or modern finishes and fixtures. That bad boy's modern. Looks pristine, fresh out of somewhere. I'm not sure where you'd buy that, or you'd have to custom design it. But
that came off a carousel. Are you joking? That was airlifted.
Yeah, straight out of a weird carny experience. I'm probably good at this time of year around Halloween, but for the rest of the year, the jury's out for me in terms of the practicality of that one. Very unsure still, and a little bit concerned, like mentally scathed by wondering what the gold mirrored platter is on the floor, looking back up at you while you're going to the toilet above it. That's always a little bit disturbing to me. But look, could be functional. Like, it looks like a comfortable place to sit for a little while if you're so inclined. If you love the equestrian lifestyle, it might be interesting as well for horse lovers.
I'm trying to picture if you're sitting at, like, okay, as a man, how are you peeing on it?
It's a challenge.
That's like a disaster for you. Just don't get it in the bowl. Like, you're going to piss off everyone.
Not necessarily at toilet time, but love a challenge.
Especially after a big night, you're screwed. That toilet forces you to sit down. And then if you're a girl, like, what do? Hug the neck? Just wait. I don't know. I'm not into it. And I think what you're saying is so true. It's like, yes, we all have our tastes. We all have our quirks. Like, I've seen properties where people just have, not the same taste as me. And it's all about, when you're selling a house, you always have to try and make the space neutral. That's what a lot of staging stylists do. They're trying to make the space full of, like, really neutral colours, no personalisation, no real fun things. It should be like a space that you can picture yourself in. So keeping the carousel toilet, like how would you advise this person if they were your vendor?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a deal killer for a lot of your buyers. It'll also stop people from renting the property as well.
True.
And then it's just not practical day to day. Like, think about the cleaning issues that you'd have with something like that. If you had children, like, it would scare the living shit out of my kids. I think they may like it initially, and then it just becomes a nightmare. So I think it's not practical. It then risks being a detractor then in terms of the property's value overall. So yeah, when you're looking at kitchens and bathrooms, you need them to be functional workspaces. They need to be easy to navigate around and to clean.
Yeah.
And they've got to have mass market appeal. Doesn't mean you have to be bland. Like, there's plenty of really great stylish properties that are, maybe not to everybody's taste, but they might be bang on trend or, of a particular style or architectural era. But that one is just a very specific weirdo taste that is going to be, you need to find your 1 in a million buyer for that one.
I don't wonder if someone would pay a premium just to keep the toilet. And okay, so if we have to wrap this one up, right? Love this. So what suburb? Do you know the suburb of it?
No, it was one of the guys in the team that found it. I don't know where that would be, and I'm kind of a bit confused by it because I'm thinking like it's quite a tacky thing to have. But I don't think it's from someone that's gone for tack. I think it's someone that's actually quite rich and has done it for maybe like a family thing or, jury's out for me. I'm struggling to work out where it's going to be. If you need a suburb, I'm going with Vaucluse in Sydney.
Vaucluse in Sydney. I would have probably gone with a special like a Brunswick. It's the affluent part of Brunswick where people are a bit quirky, where they would have something like that for a bit of fun. That's my take.
Yeah, beautiful.
As we sit in the Brunswick studio.
I don't want to point any fingers though, so apologies to anyone in Vaucluse listening now.
Correct, yeah, same here for Brunswick. I love you guys. And all right, let's go to this next one. So basically, look, to sum up, if your bathroom looks like a carousel at Crown Casino, maybe rethink your renovation budget and let's roll on to the next offender.
Nice.
I'm so keen at this. Okay, so number 2. This one, I loved this one when you posted it actually. So this one's efficient. I'm looking at the image. I'll give it that. You can fry an egg, brush your teeth, and flush the toilet, all without taking a step. Yes, we've got a kitchen, bath, and toilet sharing the same 2 square meters.
Is there a shower and a bath? There is a bath there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, yeah, it's incredibly efficient use of space.
Phenomenal cosmic power.
I mean, that to me just reeks of like Darlinghurst or somewhere where you might have like an 11 square meter studio apartment that's in a little Art Deco building,
like a South Yarra.
Yeah, you're short on space, and you just jam it all in there.
It's like just make it really practical. It's like those ones like when you go to like those Asian countries, and they're like, we've made a tiny house, but we've made it so tiny that you can do everything and not walk a step.
Yeah, I love those. I stay in those hotels in Japan all the time. They're like 12 square meters.
Yeah,
little businessman and woman hotels, and you have like a bed, a bathroom, a desk, and everything that's within turning distance, like with a half body turn. Incredibly efficient, no wasted space. I love it.
Made total use of it.
It could be a good student accommodation, that one as well. Like if you could maybe fit like a little laptop area in there, job done.
I can't picture, like I've got a thing with bathroom privacy, which I don't think it's a thing. I think it's a thing for many people is what I'm getting at. I can't imagine like.
Not in my house.
Not
anyone with small children gave up on that years ago.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't got kids yet, so this is my thing. I'm like, I know that privilege will be lost soon, and like that's cool. But
my dog's the most repeat offender. Like,
actually, that's true.
He'll push the door open, and as soon as I go to the toilet, he's like right next to me the whole time and doesn't leave.
Yeah, that's my cat and my dog do the same thing, and I have a party in there. That's actually so true. So yeah, maybe I don't have a thing. I've just become immune. I like to think I do, but I don't count them. I guess one of the things, like walk us through how something like this happens, right? So, what should buyers look out for in floor plans before they fall into like a layout nightmare? Because sometimes this is efficient, like you said, and sometimes it's just totally impractical. So I'm more thinking from, someone's designed this and then they want to sell it. How hard is this?
Yeah, I mean, impossible to sell that. I think that's such a narrow resale market as well. It's almost comical, that one, isn't it? It looks like AI because it's just how the hell could that ever be legal? In what country? And how is it practical as well? So, yeah, but it's true because you see a lot of it in small spaces, and it could be inner city living like terrace houses, definitely lots of apartments as well. Like you see this. You'll see it with people trying to create space where it wasn't meant to be. So we see a lot of renovated homes where people will cheaply try to create a fourth bedroom or a fifth space or something like that out of a corner of a dining room, and it's just the floor plan's not designed for it. It doesn't have the walk-through flow, doesn't have the airflow or the natural light. Then you start to compromise, right? You can't get in there and turn and do anything. It's all too small. And you really butcher the space, and it kills the overall floor plan as well.
It gives me anxiety when I look at it because I can't picture not being able to turn freely without bumping everything or falling into the bath in this case.
Part of it I find really, really attractive though, because I quite like to, sit on the toilet and work at the same time. So if I'm sitting there working, sending an email and maybe doing cooking and something else at the same time, practical. I mean, it's just multitasking.
Oh, no, that's the space that if you were ever going to say I'm a multitasker and you told me that's where you live,
I've got a place for you.
Yes, I got you. Say less, my friend. I got a space.
I've got the ultimate space for you.
Yeah, it's like, and that's how you sell it. So this always makes me think when I picture these listings, I'm always like, okay, so what's the agent going to write in the description that's going to make me piss myself? And it's often like, compact dream, like tiny living. It's all
renovate or detonate. Yeah, I had one when I was an estate agent in Sydney as well, and I had this really nice house, but was on a busy road with a bus stop out the front. And I kept selling the features of the house nonstop, like, really nice house, great entry point into the suburb, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, couldn't sell it for ages. Along came a couple from the Blue Mountains, and they were elderly, and they snapped it up straight away. And I didn't dare ask why. But later on when they bought the property, I said to them, what made you focus on this one and decide this one? They said, there's a bus stop right at the front. I was like, penny drop.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to sell all these other things to hide the obvious factor, but that obvious factor is a deal clincher.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't. And like I've got another listing example here today that we'll unpack, so I'll save it for that. But yeah, noise is a big thing that people don't consider. It's like smells, noise. Like I'll tell you right now, where my parents bought this is back, like 15, 17 years ago, right? Limbrook, Victoria. So it was at a time where, that whole area was still quite new as an estate, like maybe 10 years old. Anyway, everyone discounted how smelly the tip was at Hallam, but it travelled. So in summer, that's all you smelled when you walked outside.
Beautiful.
It was like off mangoes constantly. And I'm like, how could you have picked if that was going to happen? Like you would have to come here so often and or research the area to that level. And that's part of what you do with Green Shoots is that research of what's around here.
Yep. And noise is a big thing in many different ways. It could be like industrial or commercial noise, restaurant noise, obviously traffic noise and aircraft noise and those types of things as well. So yeah, it's certainly part of the due diligence that we have to do, but it's difficult because as you say, sometimes it's certain times of night, sometimes it's seasonal. So really difficult like that when you're wanting to buy your forever home, unless you've studied that area really, really closely.
No, spot on. So I guess we've picked this one, right? So we've picked a suburb. I've picked South Yarra for Melbourne. You've said Darlinghurst.
I think so. It's Darlinghurst, Woolloomooloo for me, or maybe a little bit of Pym on Ultimo for student accommodation.
Yep, that's true. Again, no offence. What price budget would we whack it into?
Super low. I reckon that's, we're buying that one for $245,000.
Yep.
It's probably company title in Sydney, not strata title. It's a 4-story walk up.
Yep.
Yeah, no parking, no outside space.
Yeah, nothing.
Looking into a brick wall.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah, even in a Melbourne market. And there's so much to unpack when I saw that. It's still when I look at the picture, it makes me laugh. So I guess here, one of the things I think you said is like if you can't fit a queen bed and the door's still open, then you've bought a storage cupboard, not a bedroom. So in this case, you've bought a kitchen that moonlights as a bathroom. So let's move on to the next one.
Double dipping.
Yeah, exactly. This one here, that was good. This came from your LinkedIn, right? And you're like, your post caption was, is this keeping the sun out or the fluoro in?
Yeah.
And I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I know exactly which one that is. Yeah.
So let me describe this for our listeners. Now, this photo shows a window that's completely covered, okay? Like, I want to say garbage bags covering it.
Yeah, garbage bags.
Blinds down, obviously. Maybe even boarded up behind the blinds. And basically, there's no daylight whatsoever that's ever lived in there.
The sun won't fry you now. You're human, remember?
So talk to us about this, right? And the house and that bedroom itself is not great. A floor fan, a bike. I want to say like a king single rather than a double.
Lux.
Yeah, like
Stretch out.
living life, man. and then like just a freestanding, tall boy, I want to call it. It's not even a wardrobe. It's just like a glorified tall boy. Talk to us about orientation and light. Why does it matter so much? Like, I know this is a pretty obvious one.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, I think there's 3 buyers for this one, right? So there's it could be competitive in terms of the buyer depth for this one. Either it's for a ginger person.
Yeah, because they can't experience exposed to sun. Get burnt real quick. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Or it's someone that's working night shift.
Yeah, true.
And needs to sleep during the day. Or it's a meth dealer.
Yeah. I think that's we've made our producer go, oh, shit. It's so accurate. Speaking as a fellow ginger, I'm ginger rooted by, like, I was always, was I a redhead? Yeah.
I can confirm, raise growing up.
Okay.
Thank you, mate. I wouldn't have said
Yeah,
it.
never go full ranger.
No. And my hair just darkened over time.
Sure it did.
It did. It actually did. I'm not joking. I've not dyed my hair. I think once in high school I tried blonde. It was not a good idea. And I burn still very quickly. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that would suit me. Yeah, I could see myself in that King single.
But it's so weird. Like, you've got the fluoro lights inside and then just the natural light blocked. But yeah, I mean, natural light and privacy is just such a big thing. My house that we bought last year, new from a developer that built, we looked at lots of different houses, established homes. We were laying up building our own home at the time, but we walked in this space and it had 3-meter ceilings and it faced north.
Yeah.
And it just is such a positive space to be in. And it's a place that you never feel like you want to leave because it's just the sun comes in, you can lay on the sofa in the sun. You can, there's places to be outside where you're not going to get sunburned, but it's just beautifully naturally lit. Those types of spaces are really desirable and people just make an instant connection with that. It's a soul-filling thing when you get that right. But those places that are compromised on it, they're dark, they're cold potentially, they've got privacy issues from neighbours. They're things you can't fix. They're things you cannot fix.
I feel like when I look at listings like this, obviously staging could have actually played a big role here potentially, to make it very different. Like, let's take the rubbish bags off. That's number one.
Yeah.
If you
Good
really,
start.
it's like, that's a great start. Like, that already would have improved this from just like, okay, it's got shit furniture. What do you do? Try and picture it without the furniture. But like, you could have made it a bit cuter and saved it, right? And what it makes me think is then when you see this, looking past the garbage bags, looking past the bike and all that and the floor fan, is there potential in it, right? Like, as in as a room and as a space. And how does someone online who sees this image, when is it appropriate to ignore what you're seeing and because of the way it's furnished, and when is it like a green tick to kind of go?
That's a really good question, actually. So there's a skill in that. I think there's a real skill in that, is being able to identify those opportunities and see past those instant aesthetics, or those blocks. And it could be that property has got a really nice tree outside the window. It is someone that just works from home or uses it as some sort of art studio, something they don't want the natural light in there. They might be doing photography or something like that. It could be some other random thing. But if you've got the ability to understand how the floor plan works and you can you get a gauge of the room sizes and how that flows with the rest of the house, and the potential for it to maybe open up that room to an outside area perhaps, or add a skylight in or open up a window. There could be lots of different ways that you could add value to it. So not worth dismissing out of hand, but definitely worth highlighting as a laugh.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to stop pissing ourselves over it. But
I'm surprised they shot it. I would, if I was the agent and it was that level of presentation, I would have just not shot that room.
yeah, that's what I'm surprised at. So it makes me wonder if this is just a singular, like, that's all you get. And maybe there's a little ensuite, kitchenette kind of like one room area.
Yeah,
So-
I saw that house and it was literally like a full home, like a 2-story sort of Queenslander.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you actually inspected that one?
No, I didn't inspect it. I saw it online.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, it was a full house. It was like, would have been one of like the 7th or 8th photos. So I just would not have put that photo in because it certainly doesn't do it any justice. Although we're talking about it months later, so it's definitely memorable. Maybe
Yeah.
that's part of the sales catch.
That was what they wanted. We're still talking about it.
Yeah.
When it comes back to
It
market,
worked.
it's mine.
It worked.
And all right, so quick one. If you had to guess a suburb and a listing price of this moody cave, what are we talking?
Oh, it's going to be regional Queensland for sure.
Yep.
It's going to be cheap as. It's going to be full of asbestos, and it's probably got a massive snake in the roof somewhere.
God, I'm not buying it. Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, yeah, region. So you reckon north, like far north Queensland, or are we talking
Could
regional?
could be. I mean, it's definitely a regional Queensland one. It's in the boondocks somewhere. It's got long grass outside for sure. It's probably surrounded by sort of paddocks,
Yep.
maybe in kind of like some sort of mining or regional area like that. Yeah, massive snake in the roof, carpet python, lots of possums. Yeah, it's a banger. Double-story Queenslander, I reckon, full of asbestos.
Yeah, I'm going Dufton.
Where's Dufton?
Nah, I love Dufton. It's actually near Endeavour Hills, but it's a lower socio-economic area.
Okay.
It's giving Crackden.
Yeah, nice. nice.
I'm going with that area. I've grown up in that area, so I know it way too well.
You know the
And-
inside of a crack den.
Correct. Not personally. I just I grew up in the suburb where it was everywhere, and seeing it all, I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
I've seen you before. And I know you exist. I know exactly where that's at. But no hate. Like I said, I grew up in a rough area, so I like to comment on it because I find it funny. Now, no one falls in love with a house that feels like a storage unit, so let's keep rolling. I love this next one. Sorry. You wrote the caption on this is never going to the toilet with the door open.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is a direct,
That's exactly what it is.
reflection of what I said before. Like, my house is constantly, the door is open because the dog pushes it open or one of the kids
Yep.
runs in when I'm on the toilet. So, I think that's just my worst nightmare, that you open the front door of the house and I'm sitting on the toilet with the door wide open.
FBI, open up!
It's like, hey, just come on in.
Yeah, it's like nightmare stuff.
Because it's like the house itself is not a bad house. Like it's empty. It's an empty photo, right?
Yep.
So this one's just empty house, nice white walls, and it's a view from the front door. So you can see the front door's opened. And then your very first thing that you're seeing is the fact that the toilet door, the sliding door for the toilet, which is worse, sliding doors tend to just fall off that railing a little bit, have a crack. They jam open
Yeah.
and shit like that.
Hard to shut real quick if the kids run through the door with their family and their friends.
Correct, because
Yeah.
then if you wanted to slam it, it'll just roll back. So it'll just reappear. And you can see the toilet, like as in the actual bowl where you'd be sitting. If someone, like Scott said, just, knocked in, said, hey, you're home, and then walked in.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, for example, who has her own keys and would just open the door and walk straight in.
Yeah, she'd see everything.
Hi, Nan.
It's like, g'day.
Top of the morning, Nan. Good to see you.
So, like, this is something that from first glance you could go, oh, yeah, should be right. Like, that's not that bad. But then you really think about it and you go, but it's the front door
Yeah, this is just a classic, terrible
design.
from an architect, or it probably wasn't even an architect. It would have been a bad draftsperson or a
Yep.
builder that did this themselves. But you just cannot end up with a brand new home and that poorly thought through in terms of the how the flow of the house is going to work. And
No.
you see this a lot. Like, it's a big thing for feng shui for Chinese buyers, for example. They don't like the front door opening and the back door being able to see, so that your money comes in the door and goes out, like your wealth.
Yeah.
Yep. This is not quite the same thing.
It's going straight down the toilet.
Yeah, your money goes in. The money goes in the door and straight down the dunny. Exactly.
So you're just gonna buy trash all your
No
life.
Chinese buyers for that one. So we're ruling out Chinese buyers straight away for that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's in a master plan community. And it could be, like, I don't want to, again, offend, but it could be Western Sydney, or it could be a Western Melbourne.
I was going to say West Melbourne. For me,
Yeah.
like Tane,
Tane.
Truganina. Yeah. But like, this is not a dig on suburbs, right? Like, this is stuff that we've seen
Yeah.
time and time again when we go to inspections. Like all the suburbs I'm mentioning, I've spent extensive time in for buyers. And
Well,
I've
that
just
house
seen-
is in Truganina, just FYI.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I was like to say, no, it's Tane or Truganina.
Yeah.
That's a Western suburb
Yeah.
job, for sure.
No, but it is. It's not a judge on the suburbs. It's just these are the types of things we see in
pattern.
that type of era home.
Correct.
Pattern recognition.
That's right. That's what
There
we
you
do. And I feel like you said, it's a skill, because as you get to know suburbs, you get to know things, you start seeing the same builder's work come through. So it's like, okay, so the person who built this home also built the next 10 homes. So we're going to have toilet doorway issues for the
Yeah.
next 10 homes. So if any of these are for sale and I go to the inspection, I'd say 9 times out of 10, I'm like, it's the same builder.
Or if you really liked that look, you could buy another 9 or 10 of them and collect the set.
They're trading cards at this point.
Yeah.
Privacy is something that buyers don't always think about. And like, this is something that I feel like from the photo, it catches you off. It could catch you off guard. Like, you wouldn't think about it because, yep, that's your immediate entrance. But when you're emotionally buying, you kind of ignore it and go, oh yeah, cool. And then you kind of just go to the rest of the house. If the rest of the house suits, that becomes the least thought of thing.
Yeah, I agree. And if it's furnished and it's busy at an open for inspection, then these are the types of things that people can look past. So I always advise my clients to go and see a property twice, during the daytime and during the evening, for a couple of different reasons. One, you obviously see that different change in light. You see different traffic flow getting in and out of there as well, parking and stuff if it's a busy location, what that noise element's like, as you said before, because sometimes it's commercial noise that starts up at night, like restaurants, bars, cafes and things that are around or vice versa during the day. Yeah, so there's reasons for that. But that key point that you just said, if you get a one-on-one appointment to see a property with an agent, they can't control the time of day necessarily. There's not 20 people through the house. You get that casual chance to sort of absorb everything in the home, and then that stands out like dog's balls.
Yeah, 100%. And especially I think a lot of buyers, and this is my tip to the guys listening, because we're in a market where everyone's going out to inspections at the moment. The weather's nice, and this is typically the busiest time of year for real estate.
What? It's 19 degrees in Melbourne. What did you say? The weather's nice.
That's nice for us.
You need to change your view, your state view.
I will take what I can get. Just to give you context.
I gave up on 27 degrees in God's country up on the GC today.
All right, can I give you context? Yesterday, my cousin, right, 20-year-old, with all his mates, all his boys, went to the beach.
It was 31 degrees here yesterday, wasn't it?
No, it was like, what was it, 27?
Oh, okay, there you go.
Gale force wind, and it started raining when they got there. They swam.
Beautiful.
That's what we have to look forward to. So when I go to somewhere like Queensland, I'm like in heaven. I'm like, oh my God.
Except for the direct sun on your white skin.
Oh, yeah, no, that part. I always get burnt when I go to Queensland.
Find a shady spot in Queensland, yeah.
No, even in winter. It's like the sun just appears behind a cloud and it gets me. I've had the worst sunburn I ever had was because it was behind the dark clouds. And I didn't put sunscreen on because it looked dreary. So
It'll get you.
I was on the boat and I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And then I got home and I'm like, man, I can't move. I'm like, my arms are killing me. And then I just looked in the mirror. I was a tomato. No, it was awful. It was an awful day. So, no, this is part of, right, I think you said it right. It's the private inspections. And that's what I was going to say is don't forget that you don't just have to go to the open where everyone else is going. You can just call the agent and say, will you do a private inspection at, this time? And if it happens, it could be after work hours. It could be on the Saturday, later in the afternoon or earlier in the morning. You just have to ask and book an appointment. And I often find that that's where you get to really absorb the listing, because when I was in real estate, often that market was really trash. We had barely anyone at opens back then. Nearly all the inspections were by appointment.
And as an agent, you'd control those scenarios to the best of your ability. If I had an east-facing house, it was going to be open at 9 to 9:30 in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning at the latest. West-facing, and it's not the middle of summer, probably going to be an afternoon inspection. You're going to do Wednesdays and Thursdays, whatever, at 5 o'clock to get the sun set if you've got the right home. So it's all those little nuances like that you've got to be really careful with a buy, because you're seeing it at the best possible time. So you've got to break that up and try and see it at the worst possible time. I actually love buying houses when it's pissing down rain.
Yeah, that's
because it's
true.
Like, if I like this house in this condition, this is the worst it's going to get.
Yep.
Yeah, and it stands out that it's a great asset. And when it's dark, gloomy, and it might be wet, and it's like, okay, well, I can see the water drains off everywhere. There's still plenty of natural light coming through here. There's no privacy issues. There's no noise issues. It's a nice house.
I was going to say, you've got to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So when the sun's out and it's a nice day and you're like, I'm going to go to opens, you and about 10,000 other people are doing the same thing.
Sure.
When the weather's really shit, you're like, I'm just going to stay at home. That's, again, what 10,000 other buyers are doing.
And what do we used to say as an agent on a Saturday if it was pouring down rain? It was the real buyers that are going to turn up.
That's right.
So it was game time on a wet Saturday, because like the only people coming are the people that are going to sign a contract to buy.
Correct, because they have to buy. It's like they're coming rain, hail, shine, they don't give a shit. They need to buy something.
Totally.
Yeah, no, 100%. So this one here, I think we've guessed the suburb. How much? Do you remember how much it listed for? Because
it'll be a stock standard house in Truganina, a new house like that.
550.
If it's north of Leaks Road, it'll be 550 to 650.
Yep.
If it's south, it'll be 650 to 850.
I would say I just said 550, 100%. Now, unless you're into exhibitionism, maybe keep the toilet out of view of the sofa. Maybe move on to the next one. Now, this one, Scott, you haven't seen. I found this one. Okay, and I froth it. But it's not as bad as the images. So this one is real. It's recent. It's on the market. And the agent described it as peaceful and family friendly. All right. But the map shows that it's parked right behind the Princess Freeway.
Nice.
And I love this for a few reasons. So if you love bedtime truck lullabies, this one's for you.
peaceful and family friendly.
So the house itself is pretty nice, right? So we've got this listing here.
Yep, good.
Now, so I've looked it up on the map. You can see at the top. Now, if you look at the map the agent provided against the listing below that, it's showing it from the view where you can't see the Princess Highway at all. It's actually got it behind the property. So the screenshot that I grabbed, highway's right there. Okay, so it's 2 streets away, right? That backs onto the highway. Now, I knew someone that lived in this area, and when I used to have sleepovers, I would die. The sound of that was atrocious. It was just vroom, vroom, vroom all night. Didn't matter. There was no break. There was constant and consistent, and it just always, like, you couldn't have the windows open in summer.
Horrible.
And even if the windows were closed, you could still hear it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get over the noise factor. So the reason I bring this up is when we talk about noise and infrastructure, and this is going back to what we started to talk about before, this is, to me, a perfect example of how close is too close. And why do these listings always downplay it? Because if I look at this online, which we're good at our jobs when we're real estate agents, right? We're not going to point you in the direction of the freeway. We'll say there's a freeway entrance nearby, obviously, but we're not going to tell you.
Look at the map.
Yeah, it's like, but we're not going to tell you that this is a deterrent. So that's why when the agents posted the map, it's showing it from the other way. It's like, look at that side.
Totally. And when you get there, I'm going to have Thievery Corporation on my pocket speaker, and it's just going to be like light jazz or, you know, deep house or something like that. And I'll have some nice candles on, and might be even baking some cookies or making some coffee. And we're not even going to talk about the Princess Highway. We're just going to talk about what a great space and how well priced this property is. And these guys are super motivated to sell.
And the thing is, what's distracting about
They
this?
can't stand the road.
Correct. It's like they've not slept in
They've slept
10
for 15 years, yeah.
Because they're not even at the
Super
open.
motivated to sell.
Yeah, but it's like they've got every sleep device. Like it's stuffed. And this is what I find hard about it, is because when a house like the ones we've been looking at today are obviously shitty ones, like, or shitty displays, and you're like, that is obviously crap, I'm not buying it, just from a first glance.
This is a trick.
This is a trick because it looks great. It's got a really nice floor, like the kitchen. It's been staged really beautifully. All the lights are on. There's some good natural light going on. The kitchen's very bright, white walls. Like, it actually looks like a really nice home, and I could picture myself living there as a starter home. But then the freeway is something I would totally ignore. And like you said, the agent's putting on that show.
Yeah. So one of the things that I used to teach all of my buyers to do is go and look at these properties during the week. So if the listings typically can come up on, like, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday or something like that online in advance of the first weekend inspection on a Saturday, I'd say to the clients, go and physically see it during the day. Yep. On the Wednesday after, you know, the next day. Determine if it's something that you like, because you can stand there, you'll hear the noise. You can drive around the blocks and see if the streets are desirable. If it's worth seeing, book it in on Saturday in your diary. If it's not, don't waste that time slot chasing a dog shit asset that you're never going to buy, because you're going to waste 45 minutes of your day on Saturday looking at that one when you may have missed something else. One of the interesting things, I think, with those properties, and this used to happen a lot, we would have buyers, I'm sure you did as well, every agent must right across the country, globally, this is true. Buyers would make a conscious decision to enter into the desirable suburb that they want to be, and they would buy an asset that was compromised. And an example of this was my area in Surrey Hills in Cleveland Street. Cleveland Street's really busy road, not Princess Highway, but 4 lanes, super busy all day, every day. And people would buy there at a significant discount, probably 30% discount to the suburb median price for a house. Yeah. But the problem with that is they're incredibly difficult to sell. So it's not just the fact that you will sell it for at least 30% less than what everyone else is getting in Surrey Hills on average when it comes time to sell it. It's the difficulty in actually finding a buyer for it. And it's not a liquid market. You know, we would have on the same day in Surrey Hills, say 30 to 40 people come through a 3-bedroom house that's the typical home on a quiet street. And you might get 1 or 2 people that would turn up to a Cleveland Street address. So it's pulling teeth to even sell those properties. It takes a lot longer. You can't make any major decisions in life to get rid of that asset quickly. So you're really compromising. So I would always say to people, you really need to weigh that up versus going and buying in a cheaper bridesmaid suburb, but a better quality home and paying a similar price.
I agree. Like, I think this is such a sneaky one, and these sneaky ones are the hardest ones to look past, because like you said, if no one's advising you, you're just going to this property at the inspection, and we know with buyers, they're not seeing it the second time, third time. The market's so hot that they're just buying it.
Yeah, and people will overlook things like bad topography, big sloping blocks. They'll overlook, in fire zones because they think, oh, nothing's ever happened, nothing will ever happen again in the future. They'll overlook electric meter boxes and things like that at the side of their front yard. There's a whole heap of those things like that when the market's busy, people will cut corners there, and it'll end up costing them a lot of money long term.
And that's what we want you guys to avoid. Like, the reason we bring this up, it's all for good fun. Like, to be honest, it's probably more for us. Where we wanted to weave in the value for you guys is you're on market, you're searching, you're online. That's the first impression you have of a house. And sometimes those ones that look really shit, like Scott was saying, look at the floor plan. Does the floor plan make sense? Is it a good structure? When you inspect it, ignore all the noise, as in noise being the furniture and the way it's presented and that kind of stuff. You're looking at the structure itself and seeing if it fits. These are some of the telltales that you can kind of pick up online before you make that decision. But, unless it's the carousel toilet, then, your decision is pretty clear. So.
Yeah, totally. And I think buyers can, if they really commit a very short period, they can learn a market very quickly, and they'll very soon realise the streets to avoid, where the traffic flow builds up the most, where the noise is an issue, where maybe higher crime pockets are, less desirable pockets to live in. And then they can start to alleviate those risks really easily. And it's not a lot of work to do. But the problem is most buyers are miles wide, centimetres deep in terms of their property search. So they're looking for a 3-bedroom house, for example, anywhere in the eastern suburbs of Sydney or the Bayside in Melbourne, or whatever the version is in your world of what you want to buy with what your budget affords you. Really, the trick is narrowing it down to 1 to 2 core suburbs, dialing it in for 4 to 8 weeks, seeing every single property that's either a 2-bed or a 4-bed either side of your ideal 3-bed sweet spot, so you understand where those price variations are, what types of properties are the sweet spot and what ones are in really high demand, where you can expect competition, and where to avoid in those suburbs as well.
I love that because it's just practical. It's like you said, they can learn this quickly if they just wanted to kind of dedicate that run-up time.
Yep.
So it's like just to get prepared. If you want to do this all yourself and you didn't want to engage an advocate or some sort of support, these are the things that you can practically start doing today.
Yep.
Really.
No cost.
No cost. It's just going to cost you your time and effort. And, I have the mentality of we can do everything ourselves 100%, right? And it's going to be free and it's going to be cheap and not easy, but it's like anything, it's like you can hire a landscape gardener to do a $15,000 job, or I can order the supplies, pay $1,500 and spend time doing my own landscaping for, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and take that time instead of 2 weekends and $30K out the door. So it's the same thing. You've got to weigh up like how much that effort's going to cost you, right? Is that every night after work? Can you afford it? Have you got kids? Is it going to take away time from your family, from your friends?
You're going to pay for it either way.
That's right.
You're going to pay for it either way. You either pay for it up front, or you're going to pay for it with regret later on and cost yourself money in terms of the asset value increasing.
100%. Like, it's so important. So I feel like with this podcast, my mission is always the same. It's to inform you guys that it's not like buying a T-shirt at Kmart, and even at Kmart, we still question it, right? And it's like, oh, should I try it on?
You should have called the podcast Buyer Beware instead of, no BS.
Maybe we could have like a little tagline.
Yeah.
No BS podcast, buyer beware. Yeah, my producer's saying yes, let's do that. This one, I dug deep on your socials.
Yeah, you've been stalking me, quality stalk.
I have. Oh, no, it was a quality stalk, right? This next one is the one that you said by far the best bathroom you've seen today, which says a lot. So this one looks like someone ordered a renovation kit on Temu. Tiles are fighting for dominance. Pipes are visible, and a shower that you need possibly a tetanus shot to use, I'm not sure. But the thing is, it looks like an optical illusion. I can't really separate if it's wallpaper, tiles. I have no idea what I'm kind of looking at. It looks like an optical illusion to me, like you're looking through it through a kaleidoscope. So you know,
I remember it. I know exactly the one. Yeah. And anything that's got multiple different patterns is just going to be a clusterfuck for most buyers, because you just like, it's one pattern is enough to sort of, discriminate against a vast majority of buyers who don't share the same passion for that pattern as you might do. But when you start mixing and matching, it's just a whole nother game. It's taking it to, there's levels of patterns, isn't there? And multi-pattern levels are next level. So, yeah, super dangerous, that one.
Here's Johnny.
It's going to be like a wealthy middle-class area in a big suburban block. reasonably blue chip suburb in Sydney. And the reason that happens is because there is, and this is not meant to be sexist, but there's a bored housewife there somewhere who was into textiles and Woman's Weekly or some magazines.
This
and
is
just
back in the day.
load it up.
Yep.
Went to town on that bad boy.
Someone was given a very big budget and told whatever you want.
Yeah, and I feel like I didn't grow up in the blue chip version of that, but I grew up on the low rent version of that, but near the blue chip version of that, and had some friends that had houses like that. And that's why I can really resonate with that, because it's like I've been in those bathrooms before.
It's like, you know what was...
It's a certain level of comfort for me.
No, I found the best. The textile era, as soon as you said that, my grandma moved house like a couple of months ago and she had a garage sale. Now, she pulled out these books and I'm like, who's going to buy this? And I'll try and throw it up on the screen. It was Country Patterns. This is from the 80s and 90s.
Beautiful.
When I say, and it was specifically on how to style your home.
Yep.
It was shit like this, right? Everywhere. And I'm like, oh no, like this is what they did. Like they bought the books and they were like, oh, so I'm going to style it exactly like this. And it was just very dense patterns, very bold colours. Just and everything had a pattern. It was like the couch has a pattern. So does the walls. So does
we
the
still
carpet.
do it though in a modern way though, don't we? Like, you know, even a few years ago, everyone had those like slate tile edges where they were on the sides, and they did subway tiles. And people just go to town on it and just like, oh, I've seen subway tiles are cool in a magazine or some, you know, interior design show. So now I'm going to do that everywhere.
That was like the
It's just too much.
That was like the matte black fittings. So when we built our house, they asked us if we wanted the matte black and we said no. We said just go with the silver tapware. It's just more practical, right? And all of our other mates
Boring.
was like, no, because I'm
What about the wall pattern book? Do you want some of that?
I'm good. I'm not that bored. But I remember thinking, you know, going, should we have done it? Would we have liked it? But now I don't regret it because I look back and I go, okay, so we would have just had a really black fittings everywhere. I wouldn't have loved that.
On trend briefly, and then
right.
out of trend real quick after that.
Correct, because it's like, you know, silver is timeless. That's just what is in nearly every home. And then if I wanted to go, and I said this to my partner at the time, I said, if you really hate it, we just take it all off, go to Bunnings and just put the shit we want on. And I said, you know, we don't have to pay this markup price. And I said, we're going to pay a markup with the builder, 100%. Yeah. And so we opted not to. And this is where fads that come in and out are so risky. It's like herringbone looks awesome, but you can overkill herringbone very quickly. Like I love that pattern. Even for me, I'm like, oh, like, yep, could do that. Oh, no, we shouldn't. Oh, no, we shouldn't. I don't mind patterns, but I like things to be kind of a bit basic so we can dress it up with other shit.
Yeah.
That way when I resell it, it's
and you can take that stuff out and people can put their own taste into it and layer on top of it.
Correct. It's like, I don't want to put like my aqua-coloured herringbone that I think's fantastic that someo's going to go.
I think that's a lot of people though that they maybe don't have the same mindset as you and I, and there's no right or wrong answer here. I have just flipped so many houses. I'm in and out of different styles. I'll buy something that's the theme of the day for me at that point of my life or my journey. A lot of people just don't do that, right? They'll buy a house and they're like, this is us. I'm getting carried out of here in a coffin in, 50 years' time. So they just load up on the horsey toilet and the pattern book walls.
They're like, giddy up, I'm here for 50 years, bitch. Relax.
What about his and hers horsey toilets?
Oh, no, don't. You can hold hands while you sit there together.
Hers and hers. But yeah.
Oh, that'd work.
I just mean to.
That's by far my favourite one. Maybe we should have ended with that. But no, a bad build is a ticking cost bomb, in my opinion. Like, it's one of those things that to undo it, you kind of have to spend the money to fix these things.
Yeah.
There's no real way around it other than a reno. And then when you're the seller trying to get rid of that house, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, and you got to be aware as a buyer what the real cost is to change it.
Yeah,
correct. It's not insignificant these days. So you might be looking at, a small bathroom might cost you $30,000 to do a reasonably basic thing. And of course, if you want to upsize to your Swan taps or your Versace taps or that, you're going to be spending a significant chunk more than that. So you really need to understand the cost of rectification to do those things, and it can run to a lot of money really quickly.
100%. I can't believe we've already come to the end of this episode. And I always say this, I'm going to say this forever, Scott. Like Karina literally said to me today, Karina is our marketing manager, get Scott back again because I've got an idea. And when she says that, I get scared.
Well, you did miss one off there, which was my do we leave the dead body in or the dead body out of the marketing photos? There was a good one there as well. It was like a rolled up dead body in a
I'll put it on
rug in the bathtub.
I actually saw it. So it's got like...
So there's more of these.
Oh, I think we could have like a whole other episode on this, to be honest.
I'm going to start a channel, Instagram channel for it.
Well, look, guys, if you actually have some dog shit assets, dog shit properties, you can actually email them to me and we'll do them on another episode and just unpack them. So tell us what you've actually inspected and tell us what you have not inspected or avoided because of the images. And we'd love to unpack it on the show with you. So thank you, Scott, for coming again today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, today we've learned that street appeal sets the emotional tone, layout and light matter more than you think, and privacy, noise and build quality aren't optional extras. And if you can't renovate your way out of a bad position, then just really think about it before you buy it. So, Scott, any final comments or advice for these guys who are on market at the moment?
Well, I mean, if you've got one of these houses, you need to rethink about how to give it more mass market appeal. Yeah, and if you're looking for these houses to buy, then really weigh that up into your decision-making process. Yeah. Don't buy a lemon.
Bang on. Or dog shit asset.
Exactly.
Scott, again, thank you for coming back and keeping it brutally honest. This is part of why I love you coming on here, because it is the No BS podcast and we like to keep it straight talking, no bullshit. And if you want to avoid more dog shit assets and actually find green shoot markets, then reach out to Scott and his team at Green Shoots Property. They'll help you find a place that doesn't have a carousel toilet or a backyard backing onto a freeway.
Unless you want one.
Yeah, unless you really need it. Like I always say, it costs nothing to have that initial chat. So get started on the right foot. Give Scott a call with the guys in his team and have that conversation and see what they can do for you. I'm Jo Agresta and this is the No BS Real Estate Podcast. Until next time. That's a wrap for this episode of the No BS Real Estate Podcast, powered by Abodey AI. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need it. If you're looking for more guidance on your home buying journey, you can visit www.abodey.com.au for expert advice, property insights, and the tools you need to find the right home with confidence. If you're already on your journey, you can also download our app. Just search Abodey AI on the App Store or Google Play. Have any questions or want to connect, you can follow us on Instagram at abodey.com.au or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in and we'll catch you in the next episode.